Translating the lines. Today is Friday 13th of May 2011. Yet again talking about translating the lines. The very basic human instinct is to be. That instinct we share as human with other creatures, animals and plants. That is the very, very basic instinct that we all have. We are designed to exist, and we would like to continue our existence as long as possible on this planet. In doing that, we look after our body, which is the tool for our existence on this planet. We feed it, we shelter it, and we protect it from danger and any possible elements that may harm it. So we can live as long as possible within this body. However, our instinct does not stop there. Instinctively, we are designed to pass on our genes, our characteristics, to another creature, to our offspring. So when I die and my body dies, my offspring carries on living. Therefore, my genes carry on living the life. Animals usually have another aspect to their instinct of existence, and that is an urge to prove or to test their existence to themselves and to the environment. How do we respond to that instinct? Is by moving. Movement is when a point starts changing position in contrast or against a constant point. And when we are living on this planet, that constant point is the center of the gravity. So any change of position against that center of gravity creates an invisible line in time. So there are three elements here playing parts. First element is a constant point, the gravity. The second element is that very point that keeps changing position against that constant point, gravity, in time. So without having time in mind, the movement does not happen or is not recognized. The movement of a dot or a point against the gravity, the center of the gravity, or in contrast, or or changing position of this dot against that center of the gravity in time creates an invisible line, which is called movement. So any movement is an invisible line. Now, as animal, we go back to that instinct that urges us to pass on genes to another creature. Many animals, and plants even, try to attract the genes of the opposite sex. That is how we are built. in doing that, we look after the most healthy set of genes to get involved with. The health in the opposite sex appears to us as beauty, and we think we are attracted to that person of opposite sex because of their beauty. However, the nature is more clever than us, and what we call beauty, the nature calls health. Therefore, when we instinctively look for a healthy set of genes, we think we are looking and being attracted to the beauty of the carrier of those sets of genes. Here, human starts appreciation and recognition of beauty. Now, this sense of appreciation and recognition of beauty comes across with the creation of invisible lines, and playing together, the invisible lines become stylized. They flow in a beautiful and attractive way. Therefore, we have stylized lines, which are the birth of artistic lines. Now, there's another aspect to human instinct, and that is curiosity. Of course, animals share that curiosity with us, but in comparison, human developed a greater sense of curiosity. That curiosity helps animals and humans to find the best possible way to carry on living longer and to find the best set of healthy genes. Now that curiosity comes to play here with birth of the stylized lines, and playing together becomes very important for creation of artistic lines. I said that we move to prove to ourselves that we exist and to the environment and others that we exist. By this movement, we keep reading the reaction of the environment to that movement and others, the reaction of others to that movement. So that confirms that we are moving, that we exist. That recognition of the confirmation of the other person or the environment is beginning of thoughts. We start thinking and communicating with other people and recognizing and reading their responses back. Now, this curiosity and the urge to prove to ourselves and to the environment that we exist, that, as I said, makes us to create invisible lines, and together with the sense of recognition of the beauty which is needed for finding the healthy set of genes, all this together makes us to develop some tools, and these tools help us to leave trace mark of that movement. Without using a tool, there is no trace mark of the movement, and the movements are just fraction of events, whether it is a movement of a dancer or a line of the music. A movement of a dancer is continuation of the forms that flows together, and the forms that starts from a point that moves and changes position against the center of the gravity, and that's in time creates movement. Now, the tools that we use is divided in two forms. One set of tools is art formats, paintbrush, dancer movement, music, etc., etc. The other form of tools that we use is the memory. Here there is a difference between the lines that we mark its trace on a canvas, for example, with a paintbrush and paint. Basically, we register the trace of the movement of the arm and the hand on a canvas with a brush. That is a tool. The other form of tool is our memory. We register the movement of a dancer on our memory. That is how we understand her or his moving. Without having a memory, a dance is nothing but disjointed positions of dancer's body, whereas our memory joins this movement together and we see an invisible line of movement. The same thing happens in music. If we wipe off our memory and listen to a piece of the music without having memory or without using that tool, the memory, only we hear moments of sounds, not flow of sounds, not a melody. Therefore, to register an invisible lines, we need a tool to make it visible. In fact, we do not make the invisible lines visible, we only make the trace of them visible with a paintbrush or on the canvas or with the memory on the canvas of our mind. Passing on genes, passing on thoughts, leaving behind trace marks of movement. These are all because of our urge to leave behind evidence of our existence on the environment.